I recommend this a lot in the office. I do the saliva hormone test, the ZRT test, and we want to know what the levels are, because if estrogen's too high, bad things happen. If estrogen's too low, bad things happen. If progesterone is too low, bad things happen. If it's too high, bad things happen. So remember, estrogen and progesterone, they're like a teeter-totter. Literally within hormone cycle, the first 2 weeks of the cycle, the estrogen is really high. It's the dominant hormone. Then what happens as the cycle change, that progesterone starts to rise, where estrogen and progesterone, in theory, cross, or they balance. That's when ovulation occurs. And then progesterone is the dominant hormone in the last 2 weeks of the cycle. So we have this going on all the time. And you can imagine, if you have normal estrogen levels, and we're supposed to have, basically balanced progesterone levels. If there's no progesterone levels, even though the patient is having normal estrogen levels, they're estrogen dominant. Does that make sense? Now, it could be that also that you have normal progesterone levels and high estrogen. Now we have estrogen dominance, and then we have progesterone dominance. But man, this is really, really important to know what your estrogen levels are. This is the key to helping people through menopause. And again, I like the saliva because it is so helpful and so useful, because the hormones are bound to transport molecules in the blood, and they're not in the saliva. And I just think it's a way better way to get information and know what to do and how to treat. I mean, here's looking at a hormone test. Yeah, so we have estrogen, progesterone, the ratio, testosterone, DHEA, cortisol, and there's also a new thing that they added, looking at thyroid. So you can see everything should be really nice and balanced inside of the green. So you can look at, hey, she has a little bit of low estrogen, low progesterone, which makes her ratio really low. Ideal should be at least 100. She's 48. So the third one down is off. Her testosterone is perfectly balanced, which a lot of time with women, especially going through menopause, they're being told, oh, well, this fixes everything. Let's just get you a little bit of testosterone implants or pellets. And then what happens is it doesn't balance, because it's not a testosterone problem. Then we look at her DHEA, which is our energy hormone. DHEAS says here, this happens a lot, is lower than expected in the age range. Chronic low DHEA may suggest problems with the hypothalamus, which is up in the brain, the pituitary, which is the office manager, and the adrenal gland, particularly if the cortisol is low and the symptoms are indicative of adrenal dysfunction. So DHEA is highest during the late teens to early 20s and drops steadily as the lower end of the age by 70 or 80. Midlife DHEA levels play a role in females, usually the range of 5 to 8 milligrams, and is a testosterone precursor. So even though her testosterone is fine, this is why it's so important to test. Her DHEAS, which is her energy hormone, is just super, super low. Also, what happens is the thyroid is supposed to take over for the adrenal gland, for the ovaries and the adrenal glands to put everything together. And this is why I think there's so many thyroid problems later. And so because it's not a coordinated system. And then the side effect for all of this is this situation where we have right here with menopause, I think a better thing to call it is hormone confusion. So if you're not feeling right, you're imbalanced, the libido typically goes away. If the ovaries are not quite shut off, so we have if the ovaries start to stop functioning, this is where hot flashes come from. And then what happens is the thyroid, the pituitary, the adrenals start to take over some of the hormone load, and then the ovaries catch fire again. Now we have a double hormone situation, and that's when you get the hot flashes. We have too much of the messengers that allow one organ to talk to each other. That's exactly what a menopause is.